why I think that this build is one that you should avoid. Today I want to answer the question that are there better alternatives or cheaper alternatives that are worth the build other than Lego. So I went out and I bought this. It's the Fun Hole Log Cabin. It comes with 2,097 pieces. It comes with a light kit. I think you'll agree, on the box it looks absolutely fantastic. But is it really that good? Now I've got three main questions when it comes to looking at alternatives for Lego. Number one, is it as good as it looks in the images? We all know that images can be deceiving, but is this build as good as it looks in the images? Number two, is it really good value for money? Are you getting a good number of parts? Is the build good? Is it enjoyable? Is it fun? Is it good value for money? Are you really saving money, or are you going to get frustrated building something that's not Lego? And that brings me on to number three, and that is it as good build quality as Lego? After all, this kit comes with a lighting kit, and I thought it'd be a really good introduction to having a go at installing a lighting kit and seeing what it was like. Now, if you joined me on my lives, you'll already know what I think about this kit because I did build this over on my live builds. As you'll know, it was not as straightforward as I thought it was going to be, but let me explain why. So I got down to opening the first few bags and it went okay. We had the first level built, it looked really nice, that was the first part of the kit. Pieces were a little bit harder to push together, but the first level looked really okay and I managed to install my first set of lights. Level 2 was the main house build, and this is when things really started to take a little bit of a turn. Instead of just opening bag 2s, you ended up having to open bags 2s, 3 and 4 all at the same time, so you kind of like have a lot of Lego. Now I didn't realise this at first, and I was left at the end of almost completing bag 2s. I was left feeling a little bit confused and starting to feel like I was actually missing parts, and it wasn't until I decided to open bags 3 and 4 that I realised that those parts were in there. I cracked on and got the build finished, including putting together the world's most wobbly bookcase in the world. I mean, look at this thing, it just falls apart. It's holding on to one bit there. It just really falls apart so easily, and the amount of times that this actually just fell apart just by catching it whilst it was in there. I ended up taking it out whilst I was building the rest of the model. I also did realise that on the back here there was a little part that was missing, and that's probably why it was falling apart, because that part was not in any of the bags that I had. It was time to actually test this and see what it was like with the lights on inside the main house. I'm not going to lie, I was actually really pleased with what the lights look like. There's some lights shining down, there's some bits inside the log burner, and there's some lights on the outside. So I was kind of really starting to like this. Now there's one thing I did notice about this really early on after starting with this build, and that is that the back is open. It's not a closed modular like you would get on Lego, but I was really happy with kind of how this was looking on the inside. It looked really cute, it looked cozy, the lights were really nice, and there was some really nice touches like the little retro radio, the little record player, and the light inside the log burner was really nice. I really liked this so far. Even through the frustrations that I'd had of building this, I really liked this build so far, but that's not the end of the story. Next, it came on to building the roof, and you know, it looks really good. It's a lot of one particular colour, but the instructions weren't that easy to follow, and it's really hard to actually follow along and see where to actually put some of these bricks because of the way the instructions looked. I had to set my lights to really bright to try and be able to make out where the lines were between the colours on these bricks. Now with the roof finished, it just sits on top. It doesn't connect in place, there's no bricks to hold it in there, and it does just sit on there, so it lifts off very easily, which is not a problem. If you're leaving it on a shelf, you know, it's just going to leave there, but if you're wanting to pick this up, you're going to have to move it around in parts, and that for me just felt a little bit too flimsy, and I didn't really like this. I felt that it should kind of click into place at least a little bit to be able to move it around, because at the end of the day, when I'm trying to plug the lights in at the back of this, and I'm trying to plug like a USB brick or something like that into the back of it, I'm going to be moving this around a little bit. And that was my first sign that this build wasn't as good quality as I thought it was at first. let me show you what really made me change my mind and why I really want to send this back. So the last little part of this build was these two little bits of the roof that just sit in a little recess in there, and they've got some little connectors on the bottom that's supposed to just connect in so that the lights in the back of these light up, and then that's it, your build is finished. However, these do not stay in place. I have tried so much. There's some little pins on here. I've tried bending them a little bit more so that the brick will click into place, because the frustration of getting this bit is why I actually eventually have decided that I am sending this back, because these lights and the fitting for these lights alone do not work. They just literally sit in place, and you try and move this a little bit and these little roof bits fall out, and that is just going to be far too frustration, and why I think that this build is one that you should avoid. Now, I thought to myself, maybe I've got a dodgy set or something like that, so I went on to Amazon and contacted customer services to see what they suggested on doing, and their option was to return it because the build quality is not there. They couldn't offer me a replacement, so their only option was to offer it a return. I checked with them to see, you know, I've opened this, I've built it, and I'm really not happy with the build quality, and these parts just, in my opinion, are not fit for purpose, and why I've chosen to return it. So let's have a look at those first three questions and see how it does compare to Lego based on those questions. Number one was, is it as good as it looks in the images? And well, I think you'll agree, where the lights do come on and the aesthetics of this on camera, it looks pretty good. You know, on a shelf, it's going to look very nice. It's a really nice kind of design. I think that I'm not going to take anything away from that. And for that, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 with the way it looks. I'm looking off one point because these windowsill ledges, bits pointing out, they fall off and the lights don't work in those. Number two, is it good value for money? Well, you can pick this setup for, is it £115 at the moment? I'll put the dollar price up here for you, but it's £115. And for that, for the extra money, I would say go and buy yourselves the log cabin by Lego. It's not that much more. Yes, it doesn't come with a light kit, but the build quality is going to be better. It's going to be more compatible with your actual existing Lego. You're going to be able to actually connect that up and modify it. And if you want to, you can add a light kit. I intend to buy the log cabin and a light kit. I've not decided yet which light kit I'm going to actually buy. If you have any recommendations on a light kit, let me know. But yeah, it looks okay. But with all the stress, the difference of like how it feels to actually put this together, I'm actually going to give that a 3 out of 5. It's okay if you've not used much Lego or you're new to this kind of modular build and want to get started. 3 out of 5. It's worth potentially having a go of it. But I think if you tried this, you're probably not going to want to buy another one. I know I do not want to buy another one of these sets because it was just so frustrating. So that brings me on to question number 3, and is it a similar build quality to Lego? And the short answer is heck no. No, it is not. Yes, they are bricks that put together and they click together a little bit. The force that you use on some of these bricks is a little bit harder, but the actual feel and the build quality of it as you're putting the bricks together is miles apart from that of Lego. The actual feeling of them putting together, I would not mix this in with my Lego set, and I would not see this as a comparable option to buying a cheap Lego set either. That's my review of this. It's by a company called Funhole, or FO. Let me know what you think. Would you buy a non-Lego set? Have you tried a non-Lego set? Let me know down in the comments which ones you've tried. Let me know, and I may try another non-Lego set in the future. But for now, I am sticking with Lego, and until next time, bye for now. Editor me here, and just moving this about just now, you can see like bits of this just fall off without even like thinking about it. They're harder sometimes to put together, but once they're put together, it's like it deteriorates because it's really easy, so much easier to put together now after it's been put together once. So the parts are just not holding together very well at all.